Hello, how are you? You're very, very welcome back to the mind body experience today. Today, I am going to talk about how you know you're psychic. And the talk today is talking about 7 signs of being psychic. And most people will actually realize anyway that they're picking up information, thoughts, and feelings that aren't truly their own. But if I'd like to go through with you, just to clarify, you'll be amazed at how many you will tick off and how many you will say, oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. Now, I know many of the people looking at our video links over these 2 days have already started on an emotional and a spiritual journey. But even if you haven't, this might give you a little bit of confidence about what you're doing and what you plan to do. So, one of the main things, I divide these into different areas, but going on it on a general way. So, are you the kind that can walk into a room, pick up a feeling or a sense of heaviness or lightness? Do you get overwhelmed in large crowds, or even places where violent acts have occurred? I remember years and years ago, we went to visit Kilmainham jail, and I couldn't wait to get out, and not out of it, but not the cells and not where the people waited to be executed. It was mainly out of one particular yard as part of Kilmainham jail. And it turned out this is the yard that the mothers were, where the mothers and the children who had both been incarcerated for very, very minor things used to meet for 1 hour on a Sunday. The pain and the sadness that was in that particular area, even though it was outdoors, it still held it. But that kind of thing is what I'm talking about. So you have a feeling, you walk into a room, there's been a big row, you can nearly cut the air with a knife. You might describe places as being light or being heavy. You have very strong first impressions of people. You know when you know, and you're nearly always right. You can kind of, in an argument, also see two perspectives, the two different points of view. You're inclined to say, I feel, rather than I know or I see, depending on which of your different psychic abilities are actually the most prominent. You can get goosebumps or tingles on your body for no reason. Can almost feel when somebody's lying. You can experience sudden changes of mood, emotion, or feeling. You can feel emotions in your heart and in your body. You can feel the presence of somebody from the spirit or in your world, or actually can feel others' emotional and physical pain. So that's kind of an overview, but I like to break them down. So as I talk about clairvoyance, which is the psychic seeing or clear seeing, some people who are clairvoyant have very vivid dreams, colours, sounds, the lot. They can see people's auras. You can visualize or daydream easily, have a really vivid imagination, and would have a great sense of appreciation for beautiful things, beautiful places, that kind of thing. People who are also clairvoyant might have had an imaginary friend as a child. You might see flashes of twinkling lights, you might see colours, you might see symbols, you might see images, but it's all about your sight. The fact that when we are psychic, instead of us seeing with our normal senses, our eyes, our ears, or tasting or hearing, we actually are able to use our psychic hearing, our psychic sight, our psychic taste, and all of that. So these, we would call them the clairs, so Sentience, clairvoyant, and all of that. So now, some people are profoundly clairaudient, and this kind of comes in a different way Clairaudience will often, you will often be aware of a crackling in your ears as your psychic hearing, or some people might have a little tiny bit of tinnitus. It could be a sign that your psychic hearing is starting to come on board. So some of the things, ringing in your ears, crackling, as I've said. When you lie down to sleep, you might be kind of aware of voices. You might actually hear someone shout your name or words when there's nobody there. You might be supremely sensitive to sound, and that could be in busy places. You know, you could be one of these people that always wants to turn down the radio in the car, always wants to turn down the TV. That means that you have a real sensitivity to sound. This would mean too that if you were to listen to particular types of music, it would resonate deep within you because your sensitivity is so evolved. It is it's a wonderful thing to have, because if you start doing my kind of work, which is mediumship and angel readings and tarot readings, a lot of the time my messages, my intuition will come in the form of hearing somebody speak. And you know, it's very important that this would be developed. Now, going forward, claircognizance. Now, this is your gut instinct, the knowing. You might not know how you know, but you know. And an awful lot of people would be claircognizant. So you might have a sense of knowing something was wrong, even though to all intents and purposes, it's right. You can get sudden insights into a future outcome. For example, I have my sister also does this kind of work, and I might give a passing remark, such and such a thing is going to happen, and she'd say off the top of it, no, it won't, and she'd be right, because she's hugely claircognizant, and it drives me bananas when she says it, but she just knows. Claircognizant people also get truly inspired ideas. Or, you know, the person that kind of, if you lose something, you suddenly just know where it is, or it's a knowing. It's all about knowing. You can answer questions straight off the bat, and you're more than likely correct. Claircognizant people also can do things that they're not actually trained for. They look at the thing and say, I'd be able to do that. You know, that kind of thing. They'd be surprising people. Oh, I'm not trained in that. I'd probably be able to do it. Claircognizant people like logic and they like order. That part of it has slipped me because I'm not very orderly. But they like logic and they like order. They like to know things. They like to learn things. They love knowledge. Sometimes claircognizant people will know what people are going to say next. It is too, these kind of people would also have deja vu. You know, that sensation of being somewhere and I was here before, I did this before, I know this. So that's claircognizance. It's a huge thing when you're learning to be developed in a psychic way, because it gives you the thing that you trust what you're going to say. You actually have trust in yourself because you know you're right. And one of the big problems that people who train to do any kind of work like this are afraid that they're making things up in their head. But the claircognizance is a real thing. Now, one of the first things that came in with me was my clairsentience, and that's clear feeling. Now, clairsentience, a lot of people who would do energy therapy like Reiki or IET or any of those, their clairsentience comes in first. And it's so people would feel, that have stronger feelings. One of the things that a clairsentient would do, if they were standing close to somebody, might feel how they are on a physical level. They might, if their friend had a pain in their arm, they might have a sore arm. And quite often it's the mirror of the person. So if the friend's right arm was sore, the other person would have a sore left arm. I've come to learn this, The other thing is that if they were to touch somebody, it brings you straight into the awareness of the people. Clairsentience too would, if somebody was quite distressed, they would feel their distress on a physical level. Really, people who have huge empathy would also have a clairsentient gift. They can feel their own emotions, they can feel their ailments, and often a stressful situation will manifest in a clairsentient person on a physical level. So, for example, if I got bad news or if I got a fright, my back seems to just pop out of line straight away, and I can feel it in my spine. A clairsentient person can also feel how strong somebody's life force is. So they might not have any medical knowledge, but they can actually, by feeling into the person that they're looking at or with, they can actually feel how strong their life force is. The other thing about clairsentience is that at the moment we are having a grave difficulty because we are picking up on everybody else's emotions. We are picking up on everything that's happening around the coronavirus, around COVID. And the thing about it is, I felt at one stage that it was actually, I felt like it was snowing fear. You know that thing when you look out through your window and the snow is falling down and everywhere is white? Well, in the early stages of COVID, I felt it was snowing fear. And it was a huge challenge to keep me right. And I know this from all of my friends who work in this line of work with me. We were all feeling the pressure of it. So you're walking, you're even going out. I felt going into the shops to shop made me feel quite vulnerable and threatened. And that's a huge thing at the moment. So even though you say, oh, sure, I don't feel anything, I'm not a bit, psychic. To a greater or lesser degree, we're all clairsentient. Tell me the mother or the father, but particularly the mother, that doesn't get a feeling around their child when there's something not right with that child, even though, educators or medical profession or somebody else say there's not one thing wrong with that child, and you feel there's something wrong. So that's what clairsentience is. And as well as that, us clairsentients, us empaths, at the moment would want to protect ourselves going around through daily life, so we're not picking up on every single hiccup that somebody has. So try being a medium, because then as you're a medium, you really do use your clairsentience, because as a clairsentient, I can feel into the person in the spirit world. It allows me to know how they were feeling physically, what was wrong with them before they passed, all that kind of stuff. So it's a hugely important thing, but it is something that you do need, no more than you'd go out in a freezing cold day naked. Our emotions are naked, so we need to protect them. Now, clairgustance, and this is a funny thing. If people who are clairgustant have a heightened sense of taste, they can feel things in their mouth when they're not eating, and taste will bring you back in time a lot. And once again, it's one of the things that we would use on a psychic and mediumistic level, because it gives us an indication of what somebody is trying to tell us. It's also very useful, I find, at a heightened sense of taste, in that when I would speak to somebody who perhaps had died from cancer, I get this really strong metallic taste in my mouth. And it took me a long time to realize what I was tasting was what it was. But there's all those kind of things. Now, people's sense of smell or clairolifants is very... people that could smell a dirty sock at 50 feet. People that could sit on top of a dirty sock and wouldn't notice. Getting an odor drifting around you, being very, very aware of smells. Some children have this to a great deal. I remember many, many years ago, my own son had it, and we were trying to find a B&B to stay in one night on a very busy bank holiday weekend. We walked into this place and he said, I'm not staying here, it's very stinky. Now he was only 3 or 4, I nearly died, but even to this day his sense of smell is huge. And but also the kind of people that smells would bring back memories of your life, or situations or places. You know, that smell perhaps of a particular perfume, you know, like the older ladies, or maybe like a bit of Lamont or anything. Do you remember 4711, that kind of thing? That would bring you back to a time that maybe that was what your grandmother wore, or she might have worn Chanel 5. Don't know, could have been a bit of Pond's cream, any of those smells. To this day, Newlon hand cream, one of the nuns that was taught me when I was 10 or 11, she used to use it on her hands, and I can still bring it back to her when I saw some somewhere there a while back and I smelled it and it was exactly the same. But Claire Oliphant's too is a very healthy thing and a very good thing to have when you're doing our kind of work. So there are the 7 signs. So do you feel that you feel everyone else's stuff? Do you have this great knowing about things? Can you plan into the future and see into the future? Can you hear things that other people can't hear, or hear voices in your head? Is your sense of taste totally extreme? Do you have a really strong sense of smell? Or do you just know? Is your gut instinct the best instinct that you have? Is your gut instinct so powerful that you know? So you might ask yourself, well, am I psychic? I am sure that as I listed these out to you, on many, many levels, you know you are. Excuse me, I have to get a tissue. Pardon me. But the thing about it is that you can enhance these gifts as well. And there's a way of you expanding and growing your psychic gifts. For example, if you want to grow your claircognizance, that's your clear knowing. No, your claircognizance is your clear knowing. When the phone rings, why don't you just, before you look at it and see the name up, because all the names are on them now, why don't you just say, what do I know? So not what do I think, what do I know? And if you're in a situation that you're to make a decision, don't go into what do I think, because that's the memory banks of your mind. Don't go into your heart energy, because that's all what do I feel. Go into your gut. So get used to following your gut instinct, or at least listening to it. So that's one way of expanding your claircognizance. What do I know? And even, you could be sitting looking at TV, and something could come up and you say, what do I know about that? I know something. It's amazing how once you start working on it. And sometimes I suggest to my own class, because this is part of our psychic development class, I would say do a week kind of thinking about what do I know. Then you might do another week of saying, what do I feel? Bringing on your clairsentience. How do I feel this is? What do I feel? Because we just get so completely busy that we don't go into our own feelings. How does this situation make me feel in my life? Does it lift me? Does it bring me down? Is it a struggle? Is it easy? Is it making me happy or not? If, for example, in the fullness of time, we're all invited anywhere, please God, if we're invited and somebody says to you, would you like to come out with us on Friday night? And instead of you jumping in and saying, Asher, I will, and then being sorry, you say, how do I feel about going out? Now, I know going out's a bad example because we'll all want to go everywhere. But how do I feel about doing that particular course? How do I feel about doing a thing? And do the thing that's easy, because when you're working in the flow of what you feel, you'll get so used to doing the things that appeal to you. You'll get them all done, but you'll just do them in a different way. So that's your clairsentience. How do I feel? You could be talking to somebody, and instead of saying, how are you, just think, I wonder, let me feel how she is for a second. That's clairsentience. So you're growing your clairsentience. Now, your clairvoyance. Your clear seeing, how would you grow that? Do you know we become blind? Think of your laptop or your phone. When you look at it, you look at what you want to see. You don't look at all the banners and the things around the edges. Did you ever do up a room and when you went in, I have done up my sitting room, my fireplace is completely wrong. It was glaring at me for the first few weeks. Now I don't even notice it. The tiles are still completely wrong, but I don't notice it. But it's clear seeing. So asking yourself, when I look out my bedroom window, what do I actually see? When I look out through the window of the car, what do I actually see? It's expanding your awareness of your sight. Now, so I've forgotten Mariana, Clairvoyance. Yes. So, your clairaudience, what do I hear? We live near the train station. People who come to stay in our house hear the trains because they're very busy at night doing all the shunting and the bulk cargo thing. I never ever hear the trains. Never. And the windows would be wide open. In the fine days, I'd never hear them, but still people visiting us hear the trains. So what can I actually hear? Can I hear somebody walking on the gravel? Can I hear raindrops out on the gutter? It's amazing. When you start listening, what can I actually hear? And then it's a simple thing talking about what can I taste and what I can smell. But you know as well that when you get a nice new perfume, you smell it on you for the first couple of days, then you don't notice it. So what do I actually smell? You know, now, all right, when I'd open my fridge door, I might smell stuff, but what do I actually smell? You walk into a stranger's house or somebody else and say, oh, your house smells lovely. Or you might think to yourself, oh God, your house smells dreadful. But because you're aware of smelling, but walking into your own house, you get, what do they call it? Nose blind. And we are nose blind in many aspects of our life. So those are the signs of awareness. It's only a little bit of fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I mentioned, this is part of general psychic development where we go into it in a lot more detail. And I am starting 2 different groups going forward in the next week or 2. One is a psychic development course for beginners, and the other is offering mentoring on a one-to-one basis with people who are already on this journey, who perhaps have done maybe a card reading course or 2, an angel card or tarot card reading course, and might want to spend an hour or 2 or 3 with me, fine-tuning what they do. So whether it's knowing how to read the cards, how to trust your instincts, or how to actually get a business card developed, anything like that, I am quite happy to spend my time in bringing people forward, because I do it with my own people that I have trained over the years, and I'm teaching now, God, years and years and years, and I like people to be successful. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you look into all of the other lovely talks and lovely workshops that are going on in the Mind-Body Experience. And I will upload this to YouTube. It's my Josephine Hearn YouTube channel. And not that you might need a repeat of it, but if maybe one of your pals wanted to look at it or whatever. And should you wish to talk to me privately about a reading or about some work, I'd love to take your call. Anyway, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Enjoy your Sunday. And thank you so much too to everybody who responded to the mediumship and me slot yesterday. That too is on YouTube if you missed it and would like to have a look at it. It's under Saturday's date. Okay, so God bless. Take care. Bye.